Hi guys, welcome back to At Home with Holly. My name's Holly. I'm so glad that you're here with me today. Today we're going to be doing something fun. Our first time doing this, but whenever I try to preserve a product or can or freeze or whatever, I always try to find things that I am buying at the store and I try to see if I can do it better or healthier than what I buy at the store. And if I can't, then I'll continue buying that product. And if I can, then awesome, and we'll go from there. So one of the things that my daughter sometimes eats and her friends eat when they come over are the little mandarin oranges in the jars. And I just found out that when they process them at the factory, they use like lye and all that stuff. And so I thought, okay, let's see if we can make that a little better. So I bought a whole bunch of organic mandarin oranges, and I did a whole bunch of research on recipes and safe canning and what to do and how to do it. So I'm going to walk you through that process and we are going to get started. So today is it's the night before we're going to do the canning. You have to process them to get all their little white pith or whatever, the stuff that makes them taste kind of like sour or bitter and gross. We're going to process them overnight to get all those little flaky white pieces off so that it's a nice pure orangey product going into the jar. So I'm going to put all that stuff in the soak tonight, let them soak, and then tomorrow we will can them. So let's get started. So although I'm definitely removing all of the peels and I'm trying to remove as much of the white connective stuff as possible. I am going to be using pectic enzyme, which really helps. You add it to the water and you soak the oranges and it makes all of the little white connective pith stuff just rinse right off after you're done. So that was a game changer. Okay, so I have the peptic enzyme, and this is what's going to break down all the membranes, and then we're going to rinse it off, and so they're going to look like little perfect segments. All right, so I'm going to make the solution to the strength of a gallon, but I'm only going to pour in here what I need to cover it, if that makes sense. So we'll start with that. We'll let it go overnight. And that might be too full. We'll let it go overnight. And then if it needs to be more at room temperature, then tomorrow I'll take it out of the fridge and let it sit on the counter if it needs to have them be even more unpithed. Okay, we'll get this in the fridge and see what it looks like in the morning. I did originally save all the peels thinking I was going to do a cleaning solution with them, but I did end up changing my mind, but you'll see as we go along. Okay, friends, ignore the noise from my dishwasher, but I let them sit overnight. They've been out on the counter coming up to room temperature, and I put them in the bigger container so that I could kind of like swish them around and it wasn't spilling. I do think that they look different. I don't know if I was expecting them to be completely cleaned of all the pith, but I'm going to take them out and rinse them like it says to do, and I'll get any of the remaining big pieces off, and then we'll go from there. So this stuff is coming off, and it's coming off really easily. So I think I stopped the process too soon. So I'm going to put these back in there with that solution for a little bit so that the rest of this just comes right off. Because now when I touch them, the stuff just comes right off. So I just think I probably took it out an hour or so too early because this wasn't all the way up to room temp. So I'm going to get this up to room temp and let it sit for 2 hours and then do it again. All right, I let these set for a very long time and it is after dinner and I am going to get these rinsed off and then get some syrup going on the stove and we will get these things canned up. So I wanted to show you what these are looking like when they come out of this solution. So they still have the membranes attached, but only because they're in the water. They just pull off when you barely touch them. So this is the coolest little science experiment ever. So I'm just kind of running my fingers through the water, pulling off the strings, and then getting them in a bowl to rinse off. You guys, these turned out so good, so clean. That was so fun. Olivia helped me do them, so that was fun. Okay, so I'm gonna get the syrup going. I turned on my digital pressure canner, which is doubling as a water bath canner tonight. So I'm gonna make a light syrup. I'm not gonna use a very light syrup. I'm just gonna use a light syrup. There is a difference. I found that when I do things with the very light syrup, they don't taste Like it almost decreases the sweetness that in my opinion, from what they normally would be without the syrup. But when I do a light syrup, it tastes just right. So I'm going to go ahead and make a light syrup up. I'm going to get the jars in the water to get them warming up. I have a couple different sizes. I did bring up a couple cases from the basement and actually dropped a case and broke glass all over the place. So I had to clean that up in between. But so I'm going to do these in half pints, I think. I do have some quarter pints, but I think I'm going to do these in half pints because that's a little bit larger than 1 cup's worth of like the fruit cups that you buy in the store, but not quite like double. It's like 1.5 size. So that should be just right. And I'm going to get them in the water to get them warming up. So for the 3 options of syrup, it gives extra light, light, and medium. Again, I'm going just with the light. So for that, we're going to do 2 1/4 cups of sugar and 5 1/4 cups of water. So we will get this to where the sugar is dissolved and it is warm. We will pack the jars and cover them with some warm syrup. All right, so I need 5 1/4. It's 5 1/4. Now we need 2 1/4 cups of sugar. I'm using organic cane sugar. I buy my sugar, flour, rice, all that stuff in bulk from Azure Standard because I can get it at a cheaper price with healthier options. So I'm going to do 2 1/4. 1, 2 1/4. We'll get this on the stove and get it all dissolved and warmed up. Getting a little warm. I'll grab my apron and get these jars filled up. Look at how beautiful. Every once in a while you'll find a piece. Look at how beautiful these orange pieces turned out. Pretty great. If I find any of the strings that didn't get rinsed off, I'll just grab them while we're doing this. But most of them look pretty great. Oh, that was one. Now I have all of the peels that we peeled off this, and I've just been thinking I want to try to make some home cleaning products. So I'm going to research some recipes, and we are going to use the use the peels to make some cleaning products. So I'll can these tonight. They'll sit overnight and rest on the counter. Tomorrow we'll use the peels. I've got them in a Ziploc bag in the fridge. We'll use the peels and we'll make some fun cleaning products. All right, let's get these jars filled with some syrup. I'm going to bring the syrup over. Okay. Get this in. So especially when something is sticky like this syrup, you definitely want to make sure you use not just a clean cloth, but white vinegar because it cuts through the sugar. Or if you were doing meat, it would get the little bits of meat off of there. It just cuts right through that stuff. So you get a nice strong seal, which is important. And now that'll can for 10 minutes while I clean this stuff up, and then we'll take it out to cool, let it sit overnight, and then tomorrow we will get to some more fun projects with those orange peels. Okay, so it is the next day. We have all of our cans of oranges that we canned together over there. And I was thinking, instead of taking the peels that I have and making a cleaner that's vinegar based that I don't use on my counters anyways because they're granite countertops and you shouldn't use vinegar and that kind of stuff. Anyway, I think I would rather just put those in the compost bin or feed them to my compost worms. And I would like to take the 8 navel oranges that I still have in my fridge. I did a large order of oranges from Azure Standard. I got the clementines and some navel oranges. And I think I would like to take the last 8 that I have and make some yummy orange marmalade. So I'm going to get everything out and we are going to make some orange marmalade that I'm going to be able to use on pork chops and salad dressings and all the yummy things. So let's get started. Just kidding. I have 6 left. So we're going to get these washed up, and it says 2 to 2.3 pounds of oranges, which is about 4 medium. So I'll weigh these out and see if we have to 1.5 times the recipe or double it or see what we're dealing with. So these are organic navel oranges, and I'm excited. They were delicious. I've been eating them. Let me get the rest of our ingredients. We need lemon zest and juice, water, and sugar. Simple enough. I don't have any fresh lemons, but I do have lemon juice and dehydrated lemon peels. Actually, I have lemon and orange, so I might throw in a little bit of both. All right, let me get the oranges washed up. And I will link both of the recipes that I used today and yesterday. I will link these down below, the one for canning oranges and the one for making orange marmalade. So, but let me get these washes. Let me get these oranges weighed out and washed up. So it is just under 4 pounds. It's 3 pounds, 11 ounces. So 3 3/4. So I will multiply this by 1 3/4 to get the right ratios. So 1 3/4 the recipe, not quite 2 timesing the recipe. So we're supposed to cut the ends off the oranges, cut them in half, and then cut each half into 4. So we have 8 pieces at the end. So first I'm going to get these ends chopped off, all of them, and then we'll do the chopping into 4. That smells awesome. Okay. So you can see how all the rind is teeny tiny little pieces, and the orange is all pulped up too. So making messes, y'all. Okay. Next. Okay, add oranges, zest the lemon into the pot and squeeze the juice from it into the pot. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a pinch or 2 of orange peel. We're gonna add a couple pinches of lemon peel. And then I'll add a dash of lemon juice. You know, maybe 3 cups full. 1, 2. We're not doing that for safety. We're just doing it so that it brings out the orange flavor by adding the lemon's juice and zest. Okay, so we're also going to add our sugar and water. Now remember, I'm 1 3/4ing the recipe. So I'm going to, instead of doing 4 cups of sugar, I'm going to do 7 cups of sugar. And I'm also going to do a little over half a cup of water. All right, I'm going to go refill my sugar bucket. Okay, and the time it took me to clean up all the mess from the food processor and the cutting board, all the sugar is melted. We're going to let this keep going until it comes to a boil. Okay, I've got it going now, but I've got the instant read thermometer in there, and I'm going to keep going until it hits 220 degrees Fahrenheit, and then I will get it into our jars. All right, these are all in here ready to go. Time to get these out. You guys, look at how beautiful these turned out. They're all just sitting here sealing. Awesome. And that's going to do it for me today, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with me yesterday and today while we did all these orange preservation projects. We got our mandarin oranges canned up. We have our orange marmalade, which I'm super excited to use on pork, and all the things coming up that we're going to be cooking in the next few weeks. So thank you guys so much for all the likes and the comments and the shares. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. I can't wait to see you guys next time. Bye, my friend.